We're talking Ball State. Don Shondell and Ray McCallum talking Ball State. Nate Davis and Bonzi Wells. Schumann, Bell Tower, and Worthen. Fans all over from Muncie to Berlin. Getting Concannons, Carters, and Greeks. All right, everyone out there in Cardinal land, welcome to another live edition of Ball State of the Union, your number one Ball State football podcast by the fans, for the fans. We're talking current headlines, exclusive interviews with Cardinal athletes and coaches, and fun off-the-wall debates that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to us on all of your favorite social media platforms. And as always, when you hear that beautiful song and that beautiful voice, you know we're about to be doing one thing, Colin. And what is that thing we're about to be doing?
Talking Ball State.
Bingo. Couldn't have said it better myself. I am John, your host as always, joined tonight, as always again, by Colin from Ball State Football Talk. Ball State legend, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Willie Snead, will be joining us shortly, and we have another special guest who's about to jump on with us here in just 1 second. But before we get to that guest, again, I want to let everyone know that we are live. So if you're watching this right now, you can hear me right now. We're live, so you can put in any questions and comments you have on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube, and we'll read them all at the end of the show. So if you have any questions for me or Colin or any of our guests, put them in there, and we will get to them at the end of the show. So, as always, Ball State of the Union is a proud partner with The Shop Indy, and that is www.theshopindy.com. Use that code BSUnion at checkout, and you'll get free shipping on your order. Colin, they got stuff for Ball State. They got stuff for the Colts. They got stuff for the Pacers, the Fever, IU, Purdue, Butler. Why you want that? Who knows? But if you want it, they got it. Use code BSUnion at checkout, and you will get free shipping on your order. And as always, Ball State of the Union is a proud member of the College Huddle. The College Huddle is a conglomerate, a group, a community of football podcasts made by fans, for fans, all throughout the country. So they have all kinds of teams represented. Ball State of the Union, we are their representative for the College Huddle. So if you're interested in anything college football, be sure to check out the College Huddle, and they will have your team covered because your team is Ball State. We're there. And if you have any other teams that you like to cheer for or watch, they will be there as well. So, Colin, without further ado, we got a legend, another legend. We have Willie Snead on every week. We call him a legend. We have another legend on here with us tonight.
Yep.
So tonight,
big name.
A name that every Ball State fan should know. Mr. Travis Freeman. Travis is a leader on and off the field during his time in Muncie. And he was a standout linebacker, all MAC honors, and helping set the tone for the new era of Ball State football. We'll look back on his playing career, the days, the moments that defined his career, and what Ball State means to him. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, everyone out there in Cardinal land, please welcome to the show, Mr. Travis Freeman. Travis, thank you for joining us tonight, man.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me, fellas.
Yeah, so we are always interested in having former players on and hearing what everyone has to say and what they're up to nowadays. So Travis, let's just jump right into it. Let's kind of wind back the clock a little bit here. Let's get back to Glenville High School here. Great high school career you had. Great record in high school. A real winning program there. It looks like you were about 41-4 in your career there in Glenville. So my first question for you is, obviously big name head coach that a lot of people know in Ted Ginn Sr. What was kind of what playing for him like in that program, and how did that really prepare you for your time that would be at the Division I level?
Again, man, I want to first thank you guys for having me on, man. When I look back at Glenville, I think it was the preparation, even outside the X's and O's. It was a tone set there, just a winning tradition for one. Even when you think about kind of distractions, being in a city school, in an urban area, the things that you could get caught up in. And I remember that time period of how tight our community was and how we were the hope of the community. A lot of positive things wasn't going on in that area, and Glenville football really gave people light. And Coach Ginn made us understand that. You know what I mean? So he put a certain pride. You had to walk with a certain pride because you were essentially the leaders of the community, playing a game. And it's something like Coach Ginn would always tell us, like, football is one thing, but use the game of football as a vehicle to take you where you want to go. And it was a mindset for us. So we wanted to be professionals in everything that we did. It was a professional setting. We had a off season that was similar to a collegiate or professional high school, team bonding from a spiritual standpoint, all those things you can really think of. The winning was a small piece of the puzzle because it was so much leading up to that. You know what I mean? You were creating a mindset in everything you did. So when you got on the field, you were just simply going out there and doing your job. You know what I mean? You knew the expectations of the program. You knew where you were trying to get. And he held you accountable for it. And Coach Ginn is like a father figure to all of us. You know what I mean? He would take the most minute things and you think you are doing very well at them, and he was able to critique them in a way to bring you back to reality and be like, you know what I'm saying? There's still more work to be done. And I think with all the talent that came through Glenville, no one ever seemed to have a sense of they have arrived in any way or anything like that, because we understood where we were, the people we represented, not only our school, but the name on our back, the community in which we came from, you know what I mean? So it was a great sense of pride playing at Glenville. And, you know, we so happen to win a lot of games, have a lot of talented guys, but I think the mindset alone is what carried us the furthest at Glenville, and the thing that has stuck with me till this day.
Yeah. And, you know, you hit on some really important things there that, like, winning games kind of just happens when you have that culture in place and everyone's kind of being held accountable. Everyone's rowing the boat in the right direction. The winning kind of just happens, it seems like. And obviously there's hard work that still gets put in, but really that culture that it sounds like he has built there is really a testament to him as a coach and as a leader. And I believe you said before we get on, you are a part of the program now. Is he still the head coach there?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. They're actually, they have a bye this week. They're in the playoffs. So we were fortunate enough to win 2 state titles in the last 4 years.
Okay.
So we working on the 3rd, man. So hopefully it happens, man. And just to touch base on that, it's a very competitive atmosphere. When you talk about you being 4 deep in a position and everybody's going to play Division I, and has the potential to play Division I football, it goes back to that culture. Like, practices were more intense than games sometimes, just because you could never pipe down. There was no brother-in-law and none of that at practice. A guy was trying to take your spot. And that mindset just continued to carry just with everything you do. You just treat everything like it's your first time. First time you're going on the field, you know what I mean? Because it could essentially be your last rep at doing something. And we try to create that mindset and that culture. And it seemed to work because everybody wanted to put their best foot forward. So.
Yeah, and you're talking about, you know, how deep the team was and how many people go on to play at the next level. So let's talk about how that happened for you. So obviously this is Ball State, the Union. It's a Ball State show. It's no surprise out there that you end up playing at Ball State. Yeah. How did you end up there? Who maybe reached out to you first from Ball State? What other schools were talking to you, and maybe what sealed the deal to get you to Muncie?
Honestly, man, it's so crazy that you have. That's a great question, because a lot of people don't know this. I was being my junior year, coming off a pretty good season. I started picking up some offers and things like that. And Stan Parrish was maybe the OC during the time. Brady Hope was the head coach. Ball State was undefeated. And Coach Parrish and Coach Ginn are very good friends. People don't know that. He's been friends all the way from when Coach Parrish was at Michigan. And he sent a former Glenville athlete, Pierre Woods, there. So they have a relationship out this world. And then a player by the name of Toriel Gibson played receiver. He graduated a year before me and came to Ball State. And it's funny because Coach Parrish thought I had no chance in going to Ball State. He thought I was just being too heavily recruited. He just didn't think he had a chance. And he just went out on a limb. He was like, "Hey, Trav, you got an offer from Ball State." And I was big on relationships at that time. That's something Coach Ginn had instilled in us, because he taught us how the recruiting game goes. If guys don't know, into my high school guys out here who's going to recruiting process, when you go into these meetings, they have a board of who's their top guy. And you kind of just fall under that. If they can't get one guy, they just keep moving down to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Ginn had always explained to me, he was like, well, I think you're a really good player, but I think you're, quote unquote, not the top guy going to Power 5 schools and things like that. Granted, I had some offers from him. He is like, they're not recruiting you like they're your top, like you're their top guy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go somewhere where they really want you, where they're making you know you're the number one guy. If we get you, you could change the program. He was telling me that. And granted, I had a ton of offers coming in during the time. And I started to really play with that thought, because coaches would come in and be like, hey, you got an offer. Wouldn't talk to him, wouldn't see him. You know what I mean? So I started to think about those things. Like, if we're basing this off relationships, I'm seeing Stan Parrish in here all the time. And I know he cares about the kids. We already have a player who's there, who's telling me everything that's going on. Brady Hoke is there at the time. The team is undefeated. Everybody's telling me how cool Coach Hoke was and the things, his philosophy, and how he's down to earth, and I have a pizza and have a beer sometimes and just kind of just hang out with the players. And I'm like, damn, that sounds like an atmosphere that I would want to be a part of. So once I did that, I made all MAC schools for my officials. And I had some schools that came in, Boston College, some ACC school, Kansas State, Minnesota. A bunch of schools came in late, but I already had my mind made up that I want to go somewhere where I'm the top of their recruiting board. Mm-hmm. And again, Coach Parrish didn't think he had a chance. And I just started looking at the relationships, and I was going to be able to get coached by Brady Hoke during that time too. He was the linebacker coach. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, hey, I'm getting coached by the head coach as well. Like, that's a no-brainer. That makes sense. They're undefeated. I'm getting coached by the head coach. This is what it is. Like, Coach Parrish, a great dude. He's here all the time. I know who this dude is personally. I'm going to get him a look. And what's funny is when I went on my official, guys, Brady Hoke ended up leaving.
Yep.
So at that point, I'm like, damn, like he about to leave. Like, I was sealed. I wanted to come here during that time. I went on my visit. I'm loving it. Coach Hoke, like, I'm going to coach you. I think you my top guy. We're gonna do this thing. We're gonna win some championships together. And when he decided to leave, my relationship didn't go away with Coach Parrish. I was hoping that he became the head coach. And once he did, I'm like, this is one of the first guys who gave me a scholarship. It was him and Matt Campbell. Those were both my first scholarship. Matt Campbell was at BG at the time, and they were offers back to back, and those two programs really stuck with me. And Matt Campbell and those guys ended up going to Toledo. So it's funny how it happened, because I was highly considering Toledo too, but I wanted to be a little ways from home as well. I didn't want to be that close to home. A lot of people from my high school were going there. It was kind of a local thing, so I wanted to step away a little bit. And I ended up just telling Coach Parrish, like, man, I think I want to still come here. I love the campus. It was small. It was a tight-knit group of people. The players, the coaches were great. Again, Coach Parrish was my guy at that time. Love Coach Parrish. May he rest in peace as well. So that's how I got to Ball State, honestly, man, just based off a great relationship with Coach Stan Parrish.
Yeah, and what I was thinking when you were talking about how big relationships were in this recruiting process for you and how you got there, I wanted to ask you, since you're working, you're back with Coach Ginn's staff and you're working with these guys, it seems like the relationships nowadays, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, the relationships between college coaches and these high school recruits is so much different nowadays. It's a lot more transactional, it feels like, because of the transfer portal, NIL, and all this stuff. Is that what you see as well? Are the relationships not as big now? And if you were coming out now today, how would you think if those lack of relationships are there, how would that have affected maybe how you ended up at Ball State? Obviously, would it have been the same?
I think, and I totally agree with you, because it's not the same. When you talk about the dollar bills that's being put over these athletes' heads, it's hard to focus on the relationships, because you're giving kids life-changing money. You know what I mean? So as much as you want to bank on the relationships, it's hard to ignore a number sometimes. But I think it's not good in a sense to focus on the financial portion of it. Obviously, it can be a small piece of it, but to make a decision based solely on the financial part, I don't think it's beneficial because, again, when you go to a school, when you're taking visits and things like that, it's a certain feeling you want to get. You want to be around a coach, me personally, someone, first and foremost, who's going to tell you the truth with no strings attached, I should say. Someone who's not only focused on the X's and O's, but your development as a young man as well. You know what I mean? So even the feeling that you get going on campus is and you're meeting teammates and things like that. I still think that should be the priority when making a decision. You know what I mean? Because you'll get to this school, the money will be great, but then you'll end up a situation where you don't necessarily like the coach. You don't like the way he talks to you. The bond is not there because he's solely focused on the X's and O's of it. You know what I mean? There is no relationship. There is no friendship when it comes to that. It's very transactional, even from a coach's standpoint, because everybody's on a hot seat now. If I give you a certain amount of money, I'm expecting you to perform at a certain level at this point. So it's not even about your development or me trying to be your friend, or I want to be a guidance to you or a mentor to you. It's literally, can you do your job between the lines? And that's it. And we get caught up in that because, I mean, it's still recruiting. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. You know what I mean? And I try to get the boys to understand that you're still going through a recruiting process. Let's just move the money. Let's take the money out the equation. Let's just say the money is just a bonus. You don't see the money. What would it be about if it wasn't a financial gain from you? Well, who wants me? Who's recruiting me the hardest? What coaches do I have a relationship? Do I feel like if I'm at the worst time in my life, who can I go to as a man and he helped me get through it? You know what I mean? I've went to school with guys whose parents had passed while they were at school, guys who end up getting a girl pregnant or something like that. You're talking about life-changing moments and at the time during college, because you are at that age in your life where things start to change. A lot of things start to change. And if you can't go or count on someone in your position room to give you some real advice or to help you, or a guy inviting you to the house, and even something as small as introducing to your family and telling you to come over, those things meant something during that time. So I think the relationship portion, again, John, has went away. But I think it's something that we still need to make the main priority, because at the end of the day, if you're not performing, if you're facing some adversity at a school where you feel like you can't get out of, parents should know they have the right person around their child to get them through it. And it's not you transferring and things like that. It's about, how can I help you be successful at this university? So
yeah, it's a crazy new world that college football has become, even just the last 5 years. So obviously a big difference from back in your day when you were playing. One of the questions we always ask every player we've had on, we've asked Willie, we've asked Juwan Edwards, we've asked, everybody.
Yeah.
There's the thing that everyone talks about, in the NFL, it's the welcome to the league moment. But we call it the welcome to college football moment. What would you say your welcome to college football moment would be from when you got to Muncie? It could be, in practice in that first camp. It could be a first game. It could be whatever you want. When did you realize, like, okay, this is a little bit different than what I'm used to?
Oh man, this is it's a funny story, man. It's our first game of the season. We're playing North Texas, and we jabbed for it, boys. I mean, I'm talking about, I didn't plan on playing that game defensively because there was a fifth-year senior in front of me. I'm like, I probably won't get a lot of time on the defensive end of it. So I was taking great pride in the kickoff and the special teams. I'm like, you know what? I'm going down here on kickoff, and I'm going to knock somebody's head off. This is my thing. I'm doing it. My linebacker coach is the kickoff. He's the special teams coach during the time. He's banking on me. You got to think it was two other of my boys came to Ball State with me from Glenville. This is our first college game. The shoe is rocking. We coming off an undefeated season, boys. It's opening kickoff. I'm ready to knock somebody's head off. I run down, and I'm talking about I get blew up. I'm talking about I get blew up. And honestly, I didn't know what happened. I got here, so I didn't even know how it happened. It happened so fast. I don't know what happened during the time. And I get to the sideline. My boys are right behind the special teams coordinator, and he's talking on this mic. And the first thing he's saying when I walk over, Coach Freeman got blew up on the kickoff. And when I tell you, my boys started laughing so hard at me, man. I'm like, is this what this college stuff is about, man? I've never got hit like that in my life. I'm talking about first play. And I'm embarrassed. I'm pissed, y'all. My boys laughing at me, coach on my ass. And we so happen to watch film the next day.
Oh, boy.
I didn't know what happened. And it was actually one of my teammates got knocked into me and blew me up, man.
How did he feel about it?
I would never. He was like, my bad, Trav. He like, I didn't even know what happened.
Oh, boy. Well, that's a good one.
So I ran into somebody. I'm like, okay, this is what college football is about here.
There you go. Hey, you figured it out pretty quickly after that. A funny story, though, that North Texas game you're talking about back in 2009, that was actually the first Ball State football game I ever went to.
Wow, really?
Whoa.
That was the first one. So I was there. So I probably saw you get smoked by your own teammate. I just don't remember. But
that's one of them ones then. Welcome to Ball State. Welcome to college football, man.
I got to go back and find that. Before Colin's has a couple questions for you as well here, but everyone out there listening, before Colin asks his questions, if you have anything for Travis that you want to ask about his time as Ball State or what he's up to now, be sure to put it in any of those chats where you're listening and watching right now, and we will make sure that he has a chance to answer it. So, Colin, go right ahead.
Yeah. Travis, thanks for coming on again. As you know, Willie's a co-host here, and when I heard you were coming on the show, I got on YouTube, typed in your name, searched, just started watching videos that you were in from, your past time at Ball State. One thing I found out that Willie didn't even tell us, were you roommates with Willie? And what was that like? Was he a messy roommate? Was he eating stuff out of the fridge? What was it like to be roommates with our co-host, Willie Sneed?
Man, what's crazy is, fellas, I feel like I was Willie's first friend on campus. And we were in fact roommates. And what's crazy is my teammate, he was removed from the university for just behavioral reasons and things like that. But so I was in the dorm by myself. Y'all got to think, I had pushed the two twin beds together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about at this point, I don't want no roommate.
Right.
I'm a vet on the team. I'm feeling good. I think it's our sophomore season. I'm like, man, I don't need no more roommates. I'm good, man. I'm going to enjoy this space by myself. And, the coaches were very high on Willie. And when he came in, if I could say anything, man, it is no surprise to me the things Willie was able to accomplish. First and foremost, Willie, neat guy, never had to worry about anything like that. And Willie knew exactly from day one when he stepped on campus who he wanted to be. And he's probably the only freshman during that time, besides me and himself, who I've heard even speak in that sense. Like he knew that he was going to be a player at Ball State. And he wasn't no knock on anybody who was there during the time. His mindset was, I'm coming in here to dominate. And me being his roommate, I would pour into Willie all the time about, just how this thing was going to work, just to transition from high school, because Willie even came in early. Guys don't know that. Willie came to school early as well. So even realizing that, I'm like, this guy is dead serious. You know what I mean? This kid is serious about his business. He wants to come in here and play. And he worked like it. Willie didn't miss a beat. He studied his craft. He loved the game. He studied the game. He was very zero tolerance. You know what I mean? And that's something that really stuck with me. And I think it worked out perfectly because I don't want to take any credit for it, but I definitely wanted to instill a certain mindset in Willie because it said a lot about where he was coming from, what he wanted to be. And I was having some success at Ball State, and I was trying to mold him into a position of leadership, like, keep doing this. You know what I mean? Show these guys who you are, because it's all about trust. I was even told him, like, during that time, make them trust you. Make yourself undeniable, bro. And that's never missing a time, never missing a line. People shouldn't have to talk to you. That's when you know you're doing something good on a collegiate level. When coaches don't have to say anything to you and they start asking you what you want, you know you're doing something well. And that's what I instilled in Willie. Just setting a standard. You know what I mean? We wasn't having success. It was a terrible season. And I was frustrated. I was in a different mindset myself, just coming from Glenville, where we won a ton of games, to coming to Ball State my freshman year. I think we won 1 game. So you got to think about the culture shock. Like, I'm pissed off every day. Like, I'm just like, I'm not no loser. This is not how I operate. I can't take it. Anybody who's rolling with me, let's go. You know what I mean? And Willie caught that raft of me during that time, but he didn't shy away from me. He like, shit, I'm with it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Because I ain't no loser either. So we going to make it happen. And it was a bond, man. Me and Willie had some great times together, man. His first week at Ball State was very memorable, to say the least. He'll know what I mean. We had a good time his first week. And that really, I think that stirred him straight a little bit too. Like, oh, I can't do this. I ain't ready for that lifestyle yet either. But we had a good time, man. And again, there's no surprise that Willie is where he is today, the things he accomplished. I mean, a Hall of Famer at Ball State. So
if we, I think we should hear a little bit more about this first week. So here's the man in question, Mr. Willie Snead. Willie, thank you for being here with us now.
Willie, man, I was just talking about that first week, man.
I heard you, bro. I heard you, man. Dude, that hit me like a ton of bricks. You just said that. Like, yeah, I remember that day. I remember that night. That was
that week, man.
That was a good week, John. They took me under their wings real quick, and they taught me, they showed me what a weekend in college looks like, and it was not pretty. I didn't even make it back with them. I left
you guys,
early.
How late does the library stay open? That's where you guys were, right?
Dude, we made that trip to McDonald's. We made that trip McDonald's afterwards. Well, I don't know what they did, but like my boy Tory Gibson, he's a real one. I found out he was a real one that first weekend. He took care of me. He made sure I got some food, dropped me off in front of my door because I had my keys. I forgot my keys, and my roommate Trav was nowhere to be found.
I was making sure everybody was safe, man. I had to make sure everybody got home.
Hey, John, let me tell you this. I knew it was serious when it was Friday night and we done. You know, the weekend is here. And I see this dude, Trav. I'm just starting to get to know him. And all I see this dude is making up his bed, tidying up all over the place, got his jeans, he's ironing the stuff. Now I'm looking at my side like, I need to get my shit together. And I was just asking him, I'm like, what's going on tonight? He's like, oh, I'm just about to have some of the fellas over. We're about to just, have a good time. I'm like, oh shit. Well, I gotta get myself together, and I'm just modeling this dude. Like, all right, I'm just get this stuff together. You know what I'm saying? I want to match the energy because he was giving the energy off the rip. If I came in there sloppy, if I came in there like I just ain't got no home training, this guy was gonna set me straight. So I'm kind of like setting those. I'm trying to be right with my roommate. You know what I'm saying? First impression, and then them dudes came in with the bottles. I just had no idea what was coming, man. I was like, I'm kind of just here for the ride, and they took me on one, and that was so memorable, dog. That was a hell of a weekend, man. One to remember.
So Trav, I do. Oh, my bad.
No, he's good.
I do want to rewind and talk about your career because you were an absolute dog yourself. Mm-hmm. Started every game your freshman year except the opener, and led the team in tackles multiple games your first year. What made that possible for you?
I think one is great coaches. Deion Melvin at that time. Shout out to Coach Melvin, one of the best coaches I've been around. When I came to Ball State, you got to think I'm a freshman. I'm on my high horse. I'm playing with grown men now. And one thing about me, I never wanted to be the reason. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the misfit. I don't want to be the guy holding guys up, whether I'm a freshman or not. I have to be on point. And we had some guys on there. My guy Crawford, and Crawford was there during the time. Big Craw. Craw was probably like 30 years old during the time, man. He had just left the military and came back, and those guys were holding me accountable, man. I really didn't have no time for error. Between Coach Melvin on my head and those guys up front, they really gave me no time to slip. And again, with me being the top prospect out of that class, they told me, like Coach Parrish, the defensive coordinator, Coach Graber during that time, my linebacker coach, they was like, you have to be ready to play. And Spain Crosby was a fifth-year senior at that time. He was dealing with some injuries and things like that. So a lot during camp, I was getting the 1 reps. And that's funny because people don't know that. Like, they threw me into the fire. And I wanted to be prepared. That's just the mindset I had. I've always been a student of the game. It took me some time to get the playbook, different terminology and things like that, but I didn't want to let nobody down. I wanted to set the standard. I was somebody, I can remember my first team meeting with the whole group. I stood up and I set the tone. I was like, hey, I don't know what type of culture is being set here, but I'm a winner. And I said that in front of the whole team. And some people didn't take kindly to it. We had seniors on the team, guys who had went undefeated. And I was just looking at the whole culture during that time. I'm like, guys think it's sweet. I got that feeling where guys think this is about to be sweet. Because when you go undefeated, you're going to get everybody's best shot. Right. And I knew that just coming from my high school. Like, I don't care who we played. You line up against Glenville, you're going to get everybody's best shot. So I wanted to adopt that mindset. And again, I didn't want to be the reason that we slipped. Freshman or not, I knew the expectations. I wanted to be great. I wanted to play. I didn't want a red shirt. I didn't want to be a guy like that. I wanted to play. I knew I had the ability to. I was a bit undersized, but it's football. You know what I mean? I was in the weight room. I was working my ass off down there, and I set the tone, honestly. And I didn't want to disappoint the seniors. I've always trusted to play for the seniors. And I didn't want to be the reason that the seniors didn't have success. And I took it personally, fellas.
Well, I appreciate it. And Travis, each year you were at Ball State, the record got better from each year. So first of all, I just want to thank you for the part you played in turning it around. But you had Coach Parrish for 2 years, and then I believe Limbo for the next 2 years. What was the difference and the reasoning for each year you guys seeing more and more success?
I'm going to be honest. Coach Parrish is my dog. Rest in peace again. Coach Parrish was way too of a professional coach. You got to think he was with Tampa. He coached pros. You know what I mean? So you coaching Derek Brooks and those guys during that time, you guys winning Super Bowls and John Gruden. You're coaching pro football players. This is Ball State University. Practices wasn't very intense. You know, you do periods in practice. We wasn't doing a ton of periods. Our individual period will be the hardest period of the day. And it was just more of a pro style approach to the game. You know what I mean? And I'm going to be honest, Coach Parrish wasn't trying to build a personal relationship with players. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen days where players are like, man, Coach Parrish didn't say a word to me. You know what I mean? And it was because if you wasn't producing, it was nothing to really say.
Right.
And I'm sure Willie can attest to that, just being on a professional, playing on a professional level for so many years. It's like, it becomes a transactional thing for sure. You know what I mean? And Coach Parrish is a great guy, things like that. Love the players and things. But I think he was just getting used to the style of, okay, guys still have a lot to learn, even entering college. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of that was, okay, we're just going to build up. We're going to take it this way. We're going to make this clean. We don't want to get anybody injured. You know what I mean? He was more trying to preserve guys than really going extra hard to, and again, Coach Parrish was a great coach, great offensive mind, some would say, and things of that nature. But I think it was a different style because when Coach Limbo came, very detailed. The details became a thing. You know what I mean? He was a stickler for certain things. He didn't want it done that way. You thought you did it well. Coach Lynn was like, no, I didn't like it. Let's do it again. Your steps, everything had to be very precise. You know what I mean? Practices were longer. They were more intense. There wasn't, he really it was about business, even off the field. You know what I mean? It was trying to make you a professional at all times.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just in your life period. I'm talking about, I can remember things from just summer program, where you working at, your internship. Let's get your business in line. Football is your business. You know what I mean? This is your job. However you want to look at it, I'm going to make sure that you're doing your job very well. And that's what it was with Coach Limbo. And he brought a great staff. He brought a great staff. When you talk about Dave Feely coming in, Coach Bateman coming in, Coach Wilt. A lot of the coaches from that staff are very successful now. And one can say what they want, but a head coach is only as good as his staff. And when we look back on it, Willie, and I'm sure you can agree with this, every coach that was on that staff, even our GAs, are at Power 5 schools, looking to be the next thing. When you talk about Jay Bateman, defensive coordinator, linebacker coach, Texas A&M. Pete Limbo, head coach at Buffalo now, was at South Carolina for some years, spent some time down there. Daryl Dixon at Army. Coach Wilt, I believe, is at Virginia. Coach Shula was a GA at that time. He's a defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams now.
Wow.
So when you
Lustig is at Penn State as the special teams coach.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm talking about real high caliber coaches. So even Gerald Chapman's the D-line coach right now at Florida. So you got to look back. You got to really start peeling back the layers and being like, no, he had a beast of a staff with him as well. Coach Frosky, y'all offensive coordinator during that time, Willie, man, like he was success at Duke. I just was at there not too long ago. So
Joey Lynch down there in Texas A&M with
we're talking about a great staff of people who honestly, Coach Parrish had already had a great talent. He had talent on the team. Coach Limbo just came in and tightened up and added more to it. He brought a lot of guys from down south because that's where they were at, Elon in the South area. He brought that together and it became magic, honestly. So I would say Coach Limbo, very detailed, very strict in his coaching approach. And Coach Parrish, very professional style of coaching.
So, Travis, we actually have a question from someone watching right now, a viewer of the show, Shay, a friend of ours. It kind of talks perfectly about what you're talking about right here. Travis, in your mind, what was the transition period like between Coach Parrish and Coach Limbo? You kind of touched on it a little bit there, but like, were there some growing pains for you and everyone out there on the team kind of when Coach Limbo came in? Like you said, it was a lot more strict, a lot more precise. Was there anything else that was maybe like tough to get used to at first? And how did that really go?
Again, I had some success. Coach Limbo during that time. Coach Limbo was not a guy like, it wasn't a buddy thing with Coach Limbo. You know what I mean? You really wanted to avoid him at all costs. Just because he was so about business. You know what I mean? Coach Limbo was not a guy you was going to the bar having a drink with. You was actually going to tighten up when he walked in the room. You didn't know what he was going to say, you know what I mean? And he was going to call guys out for anything, you know what I mean? And that was a thing. Like, he was going to put you on Front Street for your ability not to do your job. And you was going to feel it. Almost to the point where I know players who resented Limbo, was like, man, I do not like this dude. But it's not for job. He wasn't trying to like you. He was trying to win. And again, the staff that he brought with him, everything that about it was that. And you can even ask coaches. I've had conversations with coaches since then, and they were saying the same thing. He was the same way with his coaches. I want this done like this. Your unit is playing shitty. It's all about the data. I'm seeing what's going on. How do you answer to this? How do we improve? And coaches are saying now, like, Coach Limbo is not the easiest guy to work with, but we won. How can you complain?
True.
Right.
It's like we're winning.
Mm-hmm.
So the formula, the ingredient, something is working.
Yeah.
I'm rolling with it at this point.
Yeah, I say I was a student at the time. Pretty much Coach Limbo's entire time he was a coach. So it was nice. It was a great time to be at school there. Colin, did you have anything else for Travis?
Yeah, Travis, I wanted to ask about players you played with and then players you played against. You played with some really talented guys. Obviously, Willie is here right now. Who were some other teammates that really stood out to you, either for their talent or what they just brought to the locker room? And then the second part of the question, Travis, who are some memorable people you played against? I know you played against Antonio Brown in 2009. That's the one that jumped out at me. But anyone else that maybe I'm forgetting?
Man, I played with some great dudes at Ball State, man. Willie, just one of them. Great talent, you know what I mean? And outside of Willie, one of my favorite players at Ball State was Jamil Smith. Walk on from Muncie, smallest guy out there, probably the smallest guy in Division I football during the time.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, just damn near untouchable, man. He could do it all. You know what I mean? He knew how to avoid the big hit. He could catch the punt. He could do whatever you needed to do for him. You know what I mean? And I enjoyed watching him play. I would literally pay attention to him because you just never knew. You know what I mean? He was going to make you look silly out there as a defender. There was never a huge shot on him. And I remember when he got his scholarship at Ball State, man, and I was in joy for him because there was no way they was going to continue to let this guy be a walk-on. I'm talking about came on a walk-on. His story was just amazing. And then the production that he had was insane. Keith Winning, man, best quarterback I've seen, played with, had the honor to share the locker room with. And I think the biggest thing I remember about Keith is he wasn't a big rah-rah guy.
Not at all.
But you were going to do your job. You know what I mean? And he was going to make the play, man. It was certain throws Keith made where I couldn't believe it. I can remember one game we played Indiana. Willie catches the game and put us in field goal position. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how you did it. One of the most memorable experiences, and the thing I enjoyed about Keith so much was just the cool, calm demeanor. Keith never got up here. He was never down here. He had the perfect mindset that you wanted from the quarterback. Just cool, calm, collective, going to make the play. I had all my trust in him. And they used to have a saying. They used to be like, if they used to tell us the offense was so good, if y'all can hold the opponent under 21 points, we're going to win the game.
That's about right.
I promise I cannot make this up. And I felt great about that. I used to be like, well, hell, if we can't under on 21, we ain't shit anyway. It's on us. And they would deliver every time. When you talk about opponents, Antonio Brown was ridiculous during that time. Tell you another one who had the most success against us. Bernard Pierce from Temple, the running back. Ended up playing for the Ravens at the time. He was a really special player during that time. Very, very special running back. Haven't seen much on him. Don't know. They haven't kept up with him since he left, but definitely one of the better players I had a chance to share the field with. And then I can remember us playing against Clemson and Bernard Hopkins was playing. So during that time, I was able to see him, and that's when Clemson was on fire too. They had Sammy Watkins, Taj Boyd, Arlington at running back, a bunch of great guys on defense. I think Kenny Steele was another one at Oklahoma during that time. BJ Daniels at South Florida. We actually beat them. But really good players, you know what I mean, where it stood out on film. we shared the field with some guys, the Khalil Max and things like that. So was able to really see some really great talent. And honestly, Khalil Mack didn't play well against Ball State. He never really played well, bro. I can't remember Khalil really having no impact during those games. But during that time, like I said, our offense was really good, man. And who else? Some of my favorite, man. Quake was really good. One of the best backs I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Williams was a very special talent too at Ball State. His career didn't end like I think it could have, but another really good talent there, man. Defensively, Eric Patterson was another special talent at the cornerback position. Came in and played young. So
rest in peace to my dog, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rest in paradise to Eric Patterson, man. Really, really good talent there as well, man. But it's crazy, man, because as you can see, like the MAC has always had a tremendous amount of talent that they pulled from. You know what I mean? Back then, a lot of coaches would say like the Mid-American Conference is really good. If you can win in that conference, most guys get a pretty decent job too. You think about some of the great coaches, the Urban Meyers, the Nick Saban, who's came through there, man. I want to say Bob Stoops, just Brian Kelly, you know what I mean? Just like you think about the MAC, if you can create a winning tradition in the MAC with a good grade of football, because it's great football played in the Mid-American Conference, man, those coaches go on to be really successful, man. So if you know anything about the MAC, you know that's definitely not a conference to play with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny you were talking about that South Florida game, and I can't remember exactly. Somebody on Ball State scored a crazy touchdown to win that game. I can't remember who exactly it was, but it was somebody. That's right. It was Mr. Willie Snead right here.
No play.
That boy name ring bells in the
That's right,
man.
All right. I think Colin had one more thing for you here.
Come on. Yeah, last question. Thank you again, Travis. My last question for you is your favorite game that still sticks with you, and then the toughest loss that maybe still sticks with you.
My favorite game at Ball State, man. Me personally, I think it's I think one of the best atmospheres to play in was at Army. And they have CBS contracts and things like that, so they're always on TV, man. And my senior year, we went out the Army and dominated them, man.
We did.
And it was just fun, that atmosphere, and they would let us tour the campus and things like that, man, before the game, and just learning about the history and the tradition of the game. I think that was the funnest atmosphere for me to play in. Granted, I had a pretty good game as well because they only run the ball. But I remember just that atmosphere, man, and I can remember, just the soldiers and the respect for the program and things like that, man. I just really enjoyed it, you know what I mean? And it's one of those stadiums and those atmospheres that always comes back for me, man. And again, we've been in some great games. I've been a part of several great games, man, and that was probably some of the funnest one my senior year, man. Being on CBS or your parents and things, everybody gets to watch it live and things like that, and we dominated, man. And honestly, I tell people all the time, man, Jay Bateman, he ended up getting a job at Army. We played so well. So he ended up wanting to be the Army's defensive coordinator for some time. Based on, I think, the dominance of how he schemed those guys up. So that was some of the most memorable experiences. The toughest loss for me at Ball State, I would have to say, and it's kind of crazy because it wasn't one of those ones we lost in the last second or things like that. It was my final game, the Beef O'Brady Bowl, against Blake Bortles, man, and it was a tough loss, but it being my last time, you know what I mean? I go back to that moment and we didn't play great. We couldn't really get anything going. They end up slipping away. Really good team. No knock on Central Florida. They had Martavius Murray at running back. He had a really good NFL career. And obviously Blake Bortles and some other guys from that team. So they were a really good team, but I just remember walking off the field like, damn, this is my last time in this uniform. And it honestly, I got emotional because, again, there's no guarantees after that point. You know what I mean? And I knew that. As good as a college career that I had, and this is kind of some exclusive, an exclusive for you guys, I didn't know if my body would be able to even hold up to play in the NFL. I was beat up, y'all.
Yeah.
I played a lot of games in college, man.
Yeah.
And I never missed one. And I know it sounds cliche. People say you play hurt, you play injured and things like that. I did. You know what I mean? I can remember being concussed at some points and not wanting to say things, you know what I mean? Because I knew the role that I played on the team during that time.
Right.
And in some sense, I think it was a blessing. I think God had a bigger plan for me after playing ball, just to have a career like that. I get it all the time. Like, Trav, you don't feel a way about not playing on the next level or things like that. And at one point I did, fellas. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But, man, we ended up finding out at the end of my senior year that I partially broke my leg, like a bone in my leg, and I was just playing on it. So it just shows you where I was at physically during that time. And everything happens for a reason. And again, even during my pro day at Ball State, I was beat up, y'all. I was just trying to give it a shot. You know what I mean? Hoping somebody took a chance on me and, you know what I'm saying, knew that I could play, but I was beat up, boys, for real. And honestly, don't think I got the proper medical attention during that time. That's hearsay, but I was blessed, man. And it was tough, going back to that original question, just like I felt that during that time.
Right.
After we lost that game, the Beef O'Brady Bowl, I felt it. I'm like, this could be my last ride, fellas, man. And everybody kind of thought it. I had big hopes. Everybody did think I was going to the next level. There was no doubt in a lot of people's minds. But in the back of my mind, boys, I'm like, I don't know how long I can keep this up, man.
Yeah,
I'm hurting, you know what I mean? But granted, I would have still got that call and been on my way. I'd have limped over there. Hey, man, give me 1 second. I'm ready, coach. But
no doubt,
man, it was tough. But that's probably definitely my my toughest loss of my career, that last game.
Dang, yeah, that was a tough one. Wow. I there was a great year, and that doesn't take anything away from how awesome of a year it was. But yeah, that was a tough game, and obviously, again, like you said, a great team that they were playing. Before we wrap up with Travis, Willie, do you have any questions for your old roommate?
Yeah, obviously, man. Just want to let the audience know that this was the first person I met when I went to Ball State. He was my roommate for a semester, and there is no Willie Steen at Ball State without Travis Freeman. I think he kind of set the tone for what I needed to be successful, because in my eyes, he was playing D1. He was a middle linebacker for a D1 team. And, you know, just me as a kid coming from where I came from, it's like the fact that we was D1 just meant everything. And the fact that he was the starting linebacker and he was my roommate, I just felt like the standard was already set. The way he carried himself, the way he handled his business, the way he worked, the way he practiced, the way he played in the games, the mentality, like that's the reason the way I am today. It's bits and pieces of guys like Travis Freeman that make up Willie Snead. And I just really want to put that out there so people know the type of man that we have on this show and on this podcast, because he's still making, I mean, he made a tremendous difference in my life. And I know I don't say that often, but this is one of the men that I can look to if I need anything, and they'll pick up the phone and call me. And I know he's doing this in a lot of kids' lives back in Cleveland, just trying to change the narrative of what it can be into what it needs to be for these kids. It's like there is so much, and he's a byproduct of what it means to just have great parents at home, to handle your business, to stay out the streets, and to just pursue your dreams full head of steam, you know. And that's who Travis Freeman is. So I want to put that out there. And Trav, we had so many memories together in the 2 years, the brief 2 years that we were together. And you were there. I was just listening to you talk about Coach Parrish, because he recruited me before Lembo came. And when I heard he left, he had such an impact on me that I wasn't coming to Ball State. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a great guy. Rest in peace to his, to him. And, he was just a great coach, a great person to be around. So I feel you in that way. But I think when Coach Lembo came, he had the vision of what Ball State was going to be. And I think that's what sold me. And I'm sure that's what sold you, Chad, because he was he was a business type dude. It's like you couldn't really find a common ground with him unless you just got him away from the building.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like that's not the type of relationship. He was setting the standard every day of what a business mentality of taking care of your business, being tough, reliable, and smart. You know, those are his quotes. Those are what he went to, and that's what he's established. And I just think back to those times, Trav, and maybe you can help me out. Like, what was one of the best memories you had? I know you had talked about your best games and your most fun games, the worst moments. It's like, what's the best memory out of the 2 years we were together that you can share as like a moment where it's just like, man, I'm like, I'm sure you had fun, you know, the prior 2 years, right? But I feel like the 2 years we were together, we were having some legit fun, and I was just like, and with winning, that comes right. Like you win games, you have fun. When you're losing, it's not all fun and
Absolutely.
games, right? So, like, if you can pinpoint one moment in the 2 years that we were together, both 11 and 12, especially 12, like your senior year, we just I feel like that was the year that kind of pushed us into what we were going to be in 2013, right? Because we lost a bunch of leaders to that 2012 team. What was one of the memorable moments in those 2 years we were together that you can kind of recall and kind of share?
Um, and I always go back to certain games, and it's crazy because it was around this time. I think we played. It was around this time, definitely. It was the year Barack Obama got elected for his second term, and we were playing at Toledo on the road. And we hadn't beat them to that point. I hadn't beat Toledo to that point, fellas. And they were just ranked. They had just beat Cincinnati, and we were going into their house. I'm talking about we were riding a high horse. It was on ESPN. It was one of those midweek matchups, and I think they still got it on film, man. And I can remember going out there, man, and we were a really good team. I'm telling you, we were.
Yeah.
I think we could have played with anybody in the country during that time. We could score with anybody in the country. I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember it being a high emotional game. One of my best friends played quarterback for Toledo,
I remember
and
T.O., right?
yeah,
T.O., huh?
T.O., my boy T.O., and my dude Cordell Scott was playing tight end. He went to Glenfield as well, and I can remember that was kind of the next level. I feel like for us, I think that's when it really clicked for everybody at that moment. I can remember addressing the team before the game and was like, this is a respect thing at this point. Like, we want some respect within our program, bro, and who we are and what we're going to do and what we're capable of doing, bro. I feel like Toledo during that time completely had no respect for us. They were the best team in the conference, and we went out there and dominated those dudes, man. And everybody played a role in it. Everybody did something. It was a complete team effort of how it got done, man. And that was probably the point where I felt like the leadership from my standpoint had really hit the guys. And I felt like everybody before that moment, everybody looked me in my eye, and it was like, there was no way we was losing that game, y'all. There was no way. And I say it because at that point, the camaraderie of the team was so tight. It was just one of those moments where I was like, there's no way this team is going to beat us because we are so tight knit, bro. We have been through so much during that time. We had a terrible loss to Northern Illinois. I can remember just how our season was going. I want to say we lost to Oklahoma during that time. It was like Oklahoma and Northern during that time, man. And we were a really good team, man. And I think that was the stamp kind of on my senior season. Like, we did it, man. They believed, bro, and we took care of business. So that's another one of those great memories, man, at Ball State, when I just seen everybody kind of click at one time.
I remember that game, dog, and that was a highly anticipated game. One, because it was a midweek, but two, because they was ranked. And we haven't, and like you said, we haven't beat Toledo in a long time. They were a respectable football program for years. And like you said, Travis, like when we stepped on that field, there was a conviction that we knew we was coming here to take something, right? Take that back to Muncie. And my mom was in the stands that game too. She had flew out. It was freezing cold out there. I don't know if you remember. It
Yes,
was
it was,
freezing.
man.
And it was the Glass Bowl. It was a night game. It was just the setting. Everything was just set for us to do what we accomplished. And I love that you said that, because that was a memorable moment. And you don't really think about it until somebody brings it up, and you just kind of reminisce and be like, man, like John, I'm sure you remember watching that game. You know, when
For
we
sure.
were on TV that year. Like, it just
Mhm.
that was a high for Ball State, and
Yeah.
I could feel
And
you on that,
honestly,
dog.
Willie, I think that's what's one of those moments, even for Coach Limbo, where people start paying attention. Like, even for him as a coach, like, oh wow,
Right.
he just went in there and got the win. You know what I mean? And this is
Mhm.
a big win for him. You know what I mean? This whole staff was coming from Elon again, and Toledo was a really good team during that time.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to say,
Obviously.
Mhm.
yeah, they had Reedy. They had a great running back,
They always
Fluellen.
had a great defense, man. Their defense was
Defense,
stout.
Dan Moles, like they had some guys, man, and they, like I said, they were a very respectable program. But at that moment, it was a certain glow on our team, man, and it was no stopping us from that point, bro. I think we had won several games in a row, even up to that point.
That was the year we beat South Florida.
Yep,
Mhm.
And I
at
think after
home,
that
South
game, we
Florida at home.
just at home, yeah. And I think
Eric,
right
he ended up
between
catching
now,
it.
between
The game went into Pitt, didn't he, to kind of seal the deal?
Yep.
Yeah,
against the
so it
home
just tell you what
team,
type of
it
we
was a
beat Indiana at home. That was a crazy
exactly.
year. Willie got the great catch. Steve Schott kicks the field goal to win it. You know what I mean? It was so many highs of that season, man. Honestly, we were
Right.
thinking MAC champs at that point. Again, Jordan Lynch
Yeah.
at Northern had a great game. We bottled him up most of the game. He had one large run to win it for him. But other than that, man, it was a fantastic season. It was a beautiful
For
season,
sure.
man.
And just one more thing, man, because I know you've been on here for a while, man. It's been a pleasure having you, bro. I came in halfway, but I
Yep.
was listening in the car. Like, you got some great guys just asking you questions. We appreciate your time. And one of the things we do on this show is we talk Ball State football all the time. And I don't know if you've been keeping up with the season, but it's been a rocky year. It's been up and down. These guys are 2-2 in the MAC, and they playing Kent State next week. I'm gonna just put you in the setting, man. You one of the coaches on that team. You've seen the ups and downs. I don't know if you've been keeping up with Ball State football in any way, but like, if you had something to say to these guys just to kind of kickstart them for the second half of this season, because they got about, John, correct me if I'm wrong, they got like 6 games left.
4.
What would you say? Four games, four
Mhm.
important games at that.
Yep.
What would you say to kickstart to these guys? Because I mean, these guys are younger, man. They like 10 years younger than us, and you work with the youth, like you work with, football players all the time. If anybody has been around you for 5 minutes, they know you've, bleed, sweat, cry football. You know what I'm saying? And what would you say to these guys to kind of kickstart them to get their mind right, for these last 4 games? Because these games are here going to dictate what the end of the year looks like, whether we go bowling, whether we somehow, sneak into a MAC championship, or we just go home early and we wait till next year. What would you say to these guys to kind of get their mind right just for these last 4 games and what they need to do? Just if you can kind of, lean on what you did or lean on where you at now, what would you tell these guys?
And shout out to the Cards, man. I have been able to keep up with them. And I just start really because I mean I'm always looking at the data and where we stand, man. And obviously the thing that pops off is the inconsistency. And you're not ever going to take the next step as a team or as an individual if you can't do it consistently. If you can't stack it consistently, it's going to continue to fall. You know what I mean? You're going to keep having to start over. So the first thing would be is everybody has to look in the mirror at this point, from the top to the bottom. Because when you see flashes of something, you know what we're capable of. And then for us not to perform it, we have to see what the disconnect is there. You know what I mean? We're going into games, obviously, from what we were talking about earlier, guys, just the ability not to win on the road. And then you're talking about, are we showing up every day doing our job the same way? And that's first and foremost. Whether the win or the loss or anything, as individuals, we have to all look at ourselves in the mirror and say, what can I be doing better? Where am I lacking as an individual right now? and stacking those days together completely. Every day is starting over. We had this thing just going. We just want to be 1-0 because it means nothing. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
It means nothing. Because the moment you have some success, or when you have a success, you fail to do that at the same level. They love you, they hate you, and they love you again. You know what I mean? We know how the saying goes, but until you can do something consistently, we won't be good.
Yeah.
You can't show flashes. Flashes are not going to get you where you want to be. If you're capable of doing it one game, and something, like you say, sometimes it's out of your control. It could be coaches' adjustments. It could be team adjustment, the things that you're doing. But are you showing up every day and giving your best ability as an individual?
Yep.
We shouldn't have to question the effort, the commitment to the program, first and foremost. And I don't know where guys are mentally,
Right.
but if we can get on that page first, from a mental standpoint, you know what I mean? Because you see it, you talk about winning games at home, even versus going away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It has to be a disconnect even there. Is the mindset even going away? Like, how are we going about our business at this point? And it got to have some pride in what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a unit, I'm challenging the captains of the team to bring guys together and figure out what exactly are we lacking at. Because coaches coach, players play. We still have to go out there and execute it. You know what I mean? We can get caught in the X's and O's and things like that. But until we can execute as individuals, it's going to be tough to win games, man. And again, if you can't show up every day and do it the same way, you're not good. You can't be considered a good team at any level. You know what I mean? So, and I don't exactly know, but when I see the flashes again, the inconsistencies in scheduling and points and where we are against certain aspects of the game, it's just showing me that we are not consistent. And I don't know if it's transferring from the classroom or the weight room or when does it happen at practice, but there is some type of disconnect amongst the program when things are happening like that. Or are they just getting up for, do you guys get up for home games and not away game?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Do you not love it like that? You know what I mean? Me personally, I want to go away.
I told him that.
Mm-hmm.
I like to go in the corner. I like to be the guy everybody's looking at. I want to come in and rain on your parade.
Mm-hmm.
That tends to get me going, and I don't know if guys are at that point.
Right.
But it's a pride thing as well. You talk about we're in the bottom half of pretty much every statistical category. Defensively, I know, against the pass, against the run. Offensively, pretty much the same thing. And again, it's so much to dissect in a game. I won't just get to point the finger. I don't know if it's the offensive line or anything like that, but I will say we've shown flashes of it. So you know you're capable of doing it. We have to figure out, why can't it happen consistently? Is it a player thing? Is it a coach thing?
Yeah.
Is it a mindset thing? And that's yet to be determined. But going into these next games, and me being a former Card, and you know what I mean, and just understanding where the program was at one point, we were at rock bottom. Ball State went from literally the number one team in the conference to rock bottom within a year. And even during that time, it toyed with me. Like, I don't know, like, I'm pissed off, you know what I mean? And because I don't create a losing culture, but even inside of that, I felt like challenging the people around you, you know what I mean? And I always look at the leadership around, whether it's a coach, whether it's the captain on the team, the quarterback, or anything like that. I think there's 3 levels of leadership, fellas. I think one is demonstration. And when I say demonstration, that's going out there and performing your job at the best of your ability. Your preparation, you're showing up every day, you're doing your job, you're studying the game. No one can question your effort into preparation of what we're doing. One. The second one of leadership is the accountability portion. And that you can hold people accountable when you're doing your job.
Right.
There's no way I can say anything to any guy on the team or get after anybody or mother effer guy or anything like that if I'm not doing my part?
Mm-hmm.
So if you create a culture where your best players are the guy demonstrating leadership all the time, it's like you have no choice but to jump on board.
Right.
Because you know the sacrifices they making. This guy got everything in front of him and showing up every day like he don't have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that mindset, the demonstration, the accountability part, and then it's the building back up. Don't tear people down and then don't build them back up.
Right.
That's the other aspect of leadership. Being a great leader, I think, is having the ability to be able to tear someone down, but also having the ability to build them back up and giving them what they need. And I would challenge the leadership on the team to even look at it from that standpoint. I mean, what type of legacy are you trying to leave? Even my seniors.
Mm-hmm.
This may be your last ride.
Yeah.
You got to take a gut check and be like, damn, what am I doing? Am I doing everything I can for this team to be successful? And I think once people start figuring that out, the title started to slowly change there, man.
You hit it on the head, dog, because like a lot of things you said, we brought up on this show multiple times, and I've said consistency, immaturity, the lack of leadership, the examples, because I think back when we were playing, it was put off. It was you. It was Keith, even though he was young. It was like we had those
John
examples to
Baker,
look
you know what I
to.
mean? Guys
John
like that.
Baker, exactly. Like the list goes on and on. It's just like when you have those guys in place that have that mentality of everything you just said. I think about this team, and I think about how young we are, how we have the lack of leaders, at least vocally, to be like stand on the table and be like, this is how we got to do it if we want to be successful, right? And it's I don't know if the hard times build those guys up or some of those guys just have it naturally, but that's something that we have to continue to display is just the consistency that we can be a great team, right? John, Colin, we've seen it every single week. Like we've seen the highs and we've seen the lows. And I think the lack of just, like you said, getting out of bed in a away game versus a whole game is the mentality totally different, right? If the mentality is different, then you're not that good, right? Because if you can get up in a away game and not be juiced up like you are for a home game, you're either in the wrong sport or you shouldn't even be in the sport at all, because you have to have this competitive edge to yourself when you wake up in the morning after preparing for a long ass week to get juiced up to ready to play 3 hours of knock your head off football, right? Them are the type of juices that you want. And I think, and John, Colin, correct me if I'm wrong, those are the juices that we miss, right? Because we don't see those juices until we get punched in the face half the time. And then you see the response, right? Then you see the guys get amped up, but it's like most of the time it might be too late by then, right? Because that team's already going, right? They're feeding off the punch. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you hitting on all those, Trav, because like those are gems that I hope if guys are listening to, like they really take to heart, because like that's what makes a champion. That's what makes a great leader, and that's what allows programs to grow into great ones at the end of the day.
Yeah, Travis, this has been awesome. We appreciate your time tonight. We have one more listener question before we let you go here, and it's some advice for I believe a fellow linebacker on the team right now. And this comes from over on Scott on Facebook. He says, "What advice would you have for a top recruit coming in who's behind 5 seniors at the linebacker position? He knows he's a dog, but he's struggling because he's not seeing the field right now." And he goes on to say, "Great interview," and he's sure that this player is going to watch this. So, what advice would you have for someone going through this situation?
I would say first, just make sure that you know the game. You know what I mean? Make sure that you're ready for the opportunity when it comes. You got to think, man, and I can relate because I came into a situation where starting linebacker on a great high school football team, and then I come and there's a guy in front of me. And using that and really using that fire, that as fuel to burn really the fire from within myself. Really studying the playbook. So I'm seeing these guys 5. If a guy's in front of me, I'm really waiting on you to fall off. I'm sitting in the cut. I'm studying your every move. I'm watching. I'm learning. I'm observing. I want to notice like the back of my head, because once I get that opportunity, there should be no debate. The moment even, and I hate to bring myself up because I don't like to talk or toot my own horn. I don't get into that. My career's over. But The moment I got an opportunity to play, I never came off the field.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a fact. You can look it up. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't start my first game in college. And the whole time I'm thinking it wasn't about, because I'm not hating on the guys in front of you. You're seniors. I would love for you to go out the right way and things like that. But I have to stay ready, so I ain't got to get ready. And that's it. That's the line that I want him to take with him. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Are you in a situation, there are seniors on the team? Your time is coming. You got seniors in front of you.
That's right.
I would be trying to get the knowledge from them, knowing that I'm up next. And even being able to ask them questions like, what you seeing out there? What should I be prepared for? Really working with them guys on a daily basis. Don't look at it as a situation where you're being played or I'm not getting the burn that I want. You don't want to create that selfish mindset either, because those end up being cancers to the program and kind of leak out our success that we're trying to have. Don't be that guy. Be somebody who's studying and being ready to play when your name is called. Because we do play a very physical, gruesome game.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is a snap. One wrong movement here, one wrong way. You late on something too early on something, and the next guy is up. Be ready when your name is called, man.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Amen.
Yep. Great advice there. So, again, Travis, this was awesome. Open invite whenever you'd like to come back. I could. This is our longest interview by far, but I could. It felt like it went by like. Yeah, say it felt like it went by like that. So we appreciate you coming on, and we had a lot of people watching right now. So a lot of people, you're a needle mover, Travis.
Oh man,
yes,
I just want to thank you guys, man. And I have informally, I was really upset I wasn't able to make it to your Hall of Fame induction, man. But
it's all good, bro.
Man, my brother, a good friend of mine, one of the most selfless people I know, one of the most spiritual people I know. Hardworking, dedicated. As I told y'all before, Willie already had the vision in his mind, what he wanted to be. And I've never seen him go away from that. From the moment he stepped on Ball State campus, he knew who he wanted to be, and he took every step forward to make it happen. The extra work, getting the extra routes with Keith. People think that Keith just so happened to be Willie was just in the right spot at the right time. No, them guys put in a lot of work outside of that. I've witnessed it, man. And that's a testament to Willie, man, and just where we come from, because you set the tone. You know what I mean? We played against Power 5 opponents and things like that and smoked them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And smoked them, bro. And it's not a level of a talent thing. People look at the situation and think whatever the hell they may think, man. And I just know where Willie is from, his mindset, his parents, kudos to them. Again, the people that was around us during that time, man. Willie, man, I just want to formally say congratulations on being in the Hall of Fame at Ball State, man. It's truly deserving. I know you was like earlier, it happened a little early for you, but I mean, you first ballot, you know what I mean? Yeah. If there's a first ballot Hall of Famer, you was on it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Besides yourself, there's a few guys I probably could name that probably need to be in or could be in a conversation, but they didn't make a mistake when they chose to put you in there, man. So
thank you, bro.
Brother, I'm proud of you, man. Continue to inspire. I know we talked about some things, man, and hopefully things come to fruition, because I know the man you are, the father you are, the husband you are, man, and it's a blessing, man, to even have you as a friend. So, man, congratulations again, man. And I appreciate you guys again for the time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
bro. Thank you, man. Because there's no Willie Snead without Travis Freeman. And the fact that we're still friends 12, 15 years later, that speaks volumes to our friendship. So thank you, bro. Thank you for coming on tonight. You gave some real gems. Appreciate your time. And I know this won't be the last time we have your ass on here, because like you said, it was the longest interview yet, and it was probably the best one. So we appreciate
thank you, brother. I appreciate you, bros, man.
Yep. All right, Travis. We'll talk again soon.
Yep. Y'all have a good one.
All right, bro.
All right, you too. All right. That was great.
Wow.
That was awesome, bro.
Long. Well, it was great. It's
made me proud to be a Cardinal, man.
That's right.
People like him make me proud to be a Cardinal. he left it all out there, man.
Yeah.
Like to the point where he didn't even have anything left for the NFL. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that
man.
was crazy, man.
Yeah.
Just being around
Crazy.
him, dog, just like the way he worked and just like that's why I said like there is no Willie Snead without a Travis Freeman because he showed me how to be a college athlete, to be at the top of my game and how to perform, right? Like that was the guy I looked up to. That was my OG. You know what I'm saying? And just the gems you heard just a little bit. It's like I got to live that up with 2 years. So you're right, Colin. He gave it everything he had. Like he just put it all out there on the line to the point where he didn't have enough to even. Because I really thought when I first got, but this guy's gonna be an NFL linebacker, and no doubt about it. Just off his work ethic, the way he grind, the way he performed, he was a dog, and those are the type of guys you want to see in the league because it's like when you think of the league, you think about guys like that with just this work ethic, the talent, So he's just a great guy. I'm so glad he got to be on with us tonight because I think the viewers, if they were listening, they could really pick up something from this guy because he's been through it all and he's a great man to be around, dog. He's become a great man since I met him.
Yeah, it was great talking to him. Again, he was at school at the same time I was for a little bit, so it was awesome to be able to have a chance to sit down and talk with him. So everyone out there listening, we're going to jump into our mid-season-ish grades here now. But before I do that, again, if you have any questions or comments or you want to react to anything we're about to say, throw those in there. And I have one extra special request for everyone listening, especially over on X right now. That's the largest live congruent viewership we've had so far. And we're about to pass a new milestone on this live viewership. So if you could do me a favor and like the stream, retweet it, do whatever, because I want to see how many more people we can get on this, because we've never hit 200 live viewers, and we're about to do that. We're very close. So if we can get that, if you can help us out, that would be much appreciated. So, all right, boys, mid-season-ish grades. I left this kind of open-ended. I have a handful of topics here, or things we can go. Does anyone have any spot that they really want to start with in terms of grades?
You talking about like offense, defense, special teams?
Yeah, just kind of however you want. I had here's my 5 categories I had. I had offense, I had defense, I had special teams, I had Coach U, and I had the season overall.
Okay.
So if anyone has, go ahead.
Let's start from the season, go to Coach U, and then we'll finish special teams, O and D.
Okay, so season overall so far. Willie, we'll start with you. What grade would you give Ball State football so far this year?
Can y'all hear me still?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so the grade, honestly, I feel like the grade can be so much better because I know the type of talent we have, but we just haven't been consistent. We haven't been playing consistent football this season. And with what's left, I know it can be better. I know there's opportunities where we can take this grade to a higher place. So right now, I'm gonna say a C minus. Because I've seen flashes, like Trav said, there's flashes, there's been potential, there's been things to be excited about, right? And I think we've lost games that I believe we should have won or at least be more competitive in. And I think it's just a mindset with these guys, with this team, just having the mindset to come out every single Saturday, whether it's home or away, and just play our best brand of football. And I don't think we've done that yet. I don't think we played our best brand of football. We've played great games where we had to come back, where we have to make a stand, right? But I don't think there's been a complete Ball State brand football yet where we've seen from the beginning to the end, where we've just been in control, we've been dominant, and played the type of brand of football that we were looking forward to this year. So I would say a C minus for the season so far, but that can improve, within these next 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. All right, Colin, your grade so far for the season overall.
I'm going to go slightly higher than Willie. I'm going to go C+, because I think there is still more there. Everything we want is still in front of us. The MAC championship might be slightly out of reach, but bowl game is still there. If we didn't lose to NIU, this grade is much higher. But why I'm giving a C+ is because, I did feel like we built over the first couple games. It has until the NIU game in Western Michigan. It did seem like we were trending in the right direction. We were meshing. So there were some positive moments, some great moments that I'll never forget, like sitting at that Ohio game with that Keon Magwood grab with my wife. Like, we'll never forget that. You know what I mean? So there were some great moments. But but it just hasn't been consistent. That's been the unfortunately the MO of this team. Just we're just lacking consistency right now. So I'll go C+ for the season.
Yeah, I'm at a C+ as well. A lot of the stuff you guys hit on are kind of the same reasons. This not being able to win on the road is a big thing that's really holding them back. And I'm trying to think of comparing last year to this year. Last year it seemed like every close game we got in, we ended up on the losing side of it. We've found a way to win some close games this year, which I love. So, but yeah, the inconsistency, like you guys were saying, there's been times where it seems like, man, this thing is really rocking in the right direction, and we just crash back down to earth. So the NIU game, again, I'm with Colin. I think I probably would have been up in the B range. I probably would have been almost maybe a whole grade higher had they won that, because then this thing would really be shaping up to be something special in terms of Ball State football, because we don't have tons of great special seasons. So I think I'm sitting at a C+ as well. I'm with you on that one, Colin. So, all right. Willie, you wanted to go with Coach U next. So it's Coach U's first season with Ball State, mid-season-ish grade. What would you give Coach U so far?
Yeah, I think Coach U has been doing a great job. Like, honestly, the record doesn't reflect how good of a job he's done. I think it's tough for a year one coach. You don't have all your recruits. You're trying to build something with past recruits that have been with other coaches lately. So that can be a tough obstacle as well. Mm-hmm. But I think honestly, he's integrated everything that he's wanted to do. He has the mentality to get this team to where they need to be, where they can be. So I'm not going to be as hard on Coach. I'll give him a B- because he has the right juice. He has the right makeup to be a great coach for Ball State. And I just don't think, like we keep saying, the consistency needs to be there. But sometimes I think that's more of a player thing. That's a maturity thing, right? I don't think that Coach U and his staff are not putting in the time, that they're not doing the things to scheme up each and every week to get these guys in position to be great. I just think it's the mentality of the guys, and sometimes that's out of the coach's hand, right? You can bring the horse to the water, but he's got to be able to drink it. And sometimes they drink it, sometimes they don't, and I think that's the consistency that we're looking for from Coach U, to see that jump that this team is waiting to make. So I'm going to give Coach U a B-. I think there's definitely areas to grow, but I'm not going to be too hard on him as a first-year coach that's trying to integrate his system and kind of get his players set, going into next year, because I think next year will be a better way to grade him, especially after a year under your belt, and then going into second year, it'll be, if it was like this next year, the grade would probably be a little bit different. But the fact that he's a first-year coach, I think, he's done a decent job so far.
Yeah, I'm a similar boat. I assume most of these we'll all, we all watch the games very closely, so I think we'll all be fairly close to each other. But I have him as a B. Some of the points you hit on, he gets the job in December. You're going right into a transfer portal window right away, so it's like he has some of his guys here, maybe not all of them. Maybe he has some guys that he likes, but maybe it wouldn't be his first choice in a normal cycle. So with the guys he has in the building and what we had seen working and getting better every single week for the most part, obviously, again, there's growing pains associated with all this, and you're going to have bad games every so often. So would I like them to not be as catastrophically bad? Yes, obviously. And hopefully that comes with time in the program. So I'm going to go with a B for Coach U so far this year. Again, they've already matched the win total, I believe, from last year. They got 4 chances to even jump over that here now. So I think a B is a fair grade in my book. So Colin, what about you?
I got exactly that. Coach Aramovich's grade for the season so far for myself is a B. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Last year, we only had 3 wins. We lose guys like Tanner Koziel. We're losing people like Cam Pickett to Kansas. We're losing Justin Bowick to Illinois. We lost a ton of talent. And as in his first year, it's kind of hard to replace that. And so, we bring in the Nate Vorises of the world. And Coach U is rolling. We lost our starting quarterback. He's rolling with the backup from last year. And I love Kelly, but passing wise, Caden Simons and Kyle Kelly, it's a different quarterback. He's got to adjust, Right. Not to say he's not dynamic, because Kyle Kelly, of course, is dynamic, but he's taking a roster that was really some of the stuff that Mike New had on the shelf, and he's turning this into a competent team. So I'm going to give him a B. The only complaint I have, guys, is, kind of small things, like if I'm needling here, maybe time management, our timeout management, the lack of aggressiveness at the end of the first half that we're seeing a lot here. Let's go and get the points. I know he wants to be conservative and keep that ball from the other team, but there's certain spots that I think, maybe we shouldn't rely on this program to tell us when to take the timeouts, when not to.
Right.
So for the most part, I think he's doing a good job, and I think next year it'll get better. Before the NIU game, if you would have asked me this is just like the season thing, would have been way higher. I was almost in the thing like, if we go 6-6 or 7-5, I was, I might have been a La La Land, but we might have Coach Signetti part 2. Like I was there. So I've gotten brought down a little bit, but I still believe in Coach U, and I like what he's done this year. I think some of it might be, does he have the horses in the stable? And are they taking in that information that he's given them? But I think he's done a good job so far.
Definitely.
All right. Offense. Willie, what would you grade Ball State's offense so far?
Yeah, this is tough for me because, the 2 road games that we've had this year have just been lackluster, to put it nicely. Just haven't been the type of offense that I think that we are used to seeing, especially with the home games, just the dynamic ability of Kyle Kelly, the running back stable that we have. We have explosive backs. We have receivers that can make plays. So I know there's talent, and the O-line is the O-line. It's like they're going to come to play each game. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, but I think the group of O-linemen is a great group to have. I'm going to give them a B- because honestly, some of the plays, like play calls, is like not always on the players, right? It's like when the coach does call a good play, are they executing it, right? And when they call a play that's probably not the best, are they still making the most out of it, right? And I just think Kyle Kelly, with what he's had so far and just the coaching change and having to go from corner to not being a starting quarterback to being a starting quarterback this year and handling all that and handling a new offense, like he's done the best that he can do up to this point. Now, do I think he can get better? Yes, absolutely. I think he can get better. I think the whole offense can get better. I think it's just more of just them continuing to play ball together and figure this out when they start catching their stride. And like I said, they got 4 games to do it. But I think what I've seen so far from this offense is they have playmakers. They just have to find different ways to get them the ball. But their performance this year, outside of those 2 games, I think has been a B- for me. Like I said, this was hard for me because I'm an offensive guy and I'm a receiver guy. But, honestly, I think overall it's been a B- because of the talent we have. And I just know it can get better. I know it can continue to trend in the right direction if they have the right mindset these last 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Colin, your grade for the Ball State Cardinals offense in 2025 so far?
So I split it home and away because I really feel like these are 2 different offenses we're seeing.
Yeah.
At home, I got us at an A-. At home. Away, I've got us at a D-. Barely passing, if passing. Like, I don't even know if that's passing, but when you combine them, we'll go C+. We'll go C+ overall. It's just 2 different teams, home and away. It's Kyle Kelly looks like Lamar Jackson. Literally 2 weeks ago, they're showing Lamar Jackson next to Kyle Kelly. And then this week, it's like, what's going on? So it's just so different. I'm just going to go C+.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit lower than you guys here. I got us at a C-, and here's why. We've played however many games on the road versus at home, and we have looked so unbelievably bad in all the road games except for UConn that it's just like I don't know how I can just not weigh that heavily in. I mean, even if you look at the rest of the season, we're 2-2. We have 2 more road games in the rest of the season. So
right.
I think the lack of passing attack hurts us, obviously, and not being able to throw the ball on the road. It's just a very glaring thing. And it's crazy because, like we've said, the 3 home games, they've looked good. Now they've gotten off slow starts all the time, but I think the slow starts and the performance on the road, I'm putting us at a C- for offense. Now, they can right that ship pretty easily, but that's where I have the offense so far.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair from what we've seen. It's fair.
All right, defense. Colin, I'll start with you on this one. What do you have the defense so far for the 2025 season?
I got the defense with the highest grade of anything on the report card at a B+. Only qualm I have with the defense is sometimes the other team is passing it all over us, like Akron for the first 3 quarters. And then on the NIU game, the 57 rushes for whatever the amount was, it was too much. But for the most part, this is the part of the team that's keeping us in the game. They're getting that pick in the end zone. Shout out to JoJo Lewis. They're getting the forced fumble and recovered fumble to keep us in the game against NIU. Shout out to Jack Beebe. They're making the plays to keep us in the game. It's just sometimes like the pass defense feels like bend, don't break, but we're bending a little bit too much. Or the run game, like last week, they're not even passing it, and they're able to just get whatever they want in the run game. So it's almost a little erratic there too. Like it could be great at home, and worse away. But for the most part, I think this is the strongest part of our team. And shout out to Nate Voris. He definitely got that grade a little bit of a bump with 10 sacks on the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're my highest graded thing as well. I have Ball State's defense as a B- overall. I think their stats. I feel like the defensive stats won't look that great on paper, but I think if you look into it deeper, I feel like the defensive stats are going to be skewed more so from those big games against Purdue and Auburn than maybe the offense would, because obviously the offense hasn't looked good on the road at all, whereas the defense has looked good at certain times, throughout the season. So I would say they're a B-. I think also the offense, their lack of being able to score at times and move the ball at times is really putting the defense in a bad spot at times, turn the ball over sometimes on offense and special teams, which we'll get to. So I think the defensive stats can be a little skewed here from what we've seen. And I think they're better than maybe what the stats will tell you. So I have them at a B-. Again, I'm with Colin. That's my highest grade that I have. So Willie, what about you? What's your defensive grade so far?
Yeah, I'm right in between you guys. This is my highest grade too. I'm gonna give them a B, but it's like borderline B+. It's like an 86 and 87% because they have carried the team most of the year, right? Like they performed at a very high level in some games just to keep the game close and give the offense time to at least get their act together and come back and make some plays and make it a game. But I would have given them an A if that back end wasn't giving up what they give up more often than not, which is big plays in the passing game, down the field. Like those things, like if they shut that down, the big explosive plays down the field, like I wouldn't have a problem giving this team an A- because like the way the front seven has been playing, the way Nate Voris has been coming along this year, it's like they do have a formidable defense brewing, right? But it's that secondary, it's the lack of communication, it's the explosive plays that they give up, the bend but don't break mentality. Like they got to be stone walls back there. Like they got to be stingy back there on that back end. And I think if they had been able to do that throughout the year, I wouldn't have been having a problem giving them an A-. But just overall, so far where they've been at, it's a B+, B+ for me, like 86, 87%. So definitely my highest grade, and they've been performing well so far this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that you look at the statistics of things, and with the defense, the statistics might look like great, but I don't think that tells the whole story. I think if you watch these games and watch this team, I don't think that those reflect truly what those say. So, okay, last grade for the mid-season-ish awards or grades. Colin, special teams.
Well, this is going to be the polar opposite. So this is the worst grade I have for the year, and I'm going to go D+ on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go a little bit higher because TJ Horton really does his thing. But guys, this kicking game, it's a bad year to have the kicking game so anemic. Like we need points. And our kicker's 3 of 6 with a long of 23 yards. We're muffing punts, and the other team is recovering them on the wrong side of the field. Adam Saul is a plus.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give him a little bit of a shout out, but I'm going to go D+. I think this is our weakest part of the team, guys.
Yeah. Willie, what about you?
I'm torn about special teams. Saul has been, awesome this year just with the way he's put teams in position and put our defense in position to play strongly. The kicking game, I think the field goals has not been up to par, especially like when I was playing. Like we had Steven Schott, Scott Secor, like we had guys that can make kicks, and that hasn't been on a consistent basis. And then obviously, the muff punts, but the kickoff return for a touchdown 2 weeks ago was a plus, and I love seeing that. I love seeing us get the turnover at West Virginia. That's something that I've been calling for. So overall, I'm gonna give them a B-. I got them at the same spot as the offense. I know the offense hasn't been playing consistently. I would be wrong if I said the offense was playing better than special teams, honestly, because I think the special teams has been a bright spot when the offense has been moving the ball and punting to the other team. We've been putting them in the tough field position for the defense to play strong. So, I'm gonna put the offense and special teams on the same line at a B-, and hope that it improves. And I want to see our kicking game get better. Colin, you keep mentioning it. Like we got an All-American kicker on the sidelines, and at some point they're gonna have to go to him, right? Or at some point they're gonna have to start making these kicks, because when we get in a close game, it's gonna come down to a field goal, and we're gonna need that guy to make that field goal. So, I'm looking forward to that. But right now, I got him at a B-, John.
If we would have done these at the actual mid-season point, so not mid-season-ish, the mid-season point, I would have had these guys at like an F. Now, the TJ Horton touchdown that kind of iced things away against Akron, that bumps them up some. And the more I'm thinking about it, I do think that Adam Saul really does flip the field really well for them. Do we always capitalize on that? No, not necessarily. No. I have him at a C-, D+ range. I'll go C- just so I'm not the exact same as Colin. The muff punts have been bad. Early in the year, we were letting balls bounce that we should be catching. We're losing 10, 15 yards on it. The field goals, like you said, we're not kicking a lot of them, but we're making leaving less. So I would also tell the fans out there, side with Willie on whatever any of us say, because he knows definitely way more about any of us than we do. But yeah, sure. But the TJ Horton touchdown, we were waiting. I think my lower grade too is because we had these really high hopes coming into the season for what this special teams, especially this kickoff return unit, was going to look like, and potentially being like a real game changer for us. And obviously it was in one game, but aside from that, it really has not been much of anything. And so maybe that is why I've been down on them, because I was just so kind of excited about that going into it. So yeah, I'll, for posterity, I'll just go C-, just so I'm not exactly the same as Colin. But again, I'm going to defer to Willie Snead on this one, because he knows way more about special teams than I ever would. So
and these grades, John, like when we do them at the end of the year, like they can drop drastically, or they can improve dramatically. And I'm hoping it improves dramatically, but this is kind of like a safe space for all the grades I gave. I think the grades you guys gave was like solid, for what you've seen so far. But like it's like that at that happy medium. It's like, all right, I'm trying to believe at a B-, right? But it could easily be a C. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's from what we see versus to what we can be, right? And that's why I think hopefully they make us all look wrong and they just step their game up the next couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, that's right. Right now we're rounding up a little bit, but we'll at the end of the year, who knows? So
exactly.
All right, boys, let's get to our listener questions here, and we'll get out of here. It's been a long one. We appreciate everyone. This again, like I said earlier, it's our biggest live concurrent viewers we've had so far. So I haven't had a problem, going long, because people are still watching. So we'll get to these, and we'll get everyone out of there. So first one, right off the gate, not really a question, but more of a statement, I guess, from Jaden on YouTube. Ball State football.
Oh, okay. That's my player. That's my player.
Oh, there you go. That's Colin's guy.
Yeah.
So there we go.
In high school.
Shout out Jaden. So Willie, one of your old teammates, I know who this is. I know this is Jonathan Newsom right here. He's reposting the stream. So Jonathan, if you're still watching, thank you. Big fan of yours. I'm obviously a huge Ball State fan and a big Colts fan. So I was able to watch you play for both, which was awesome.
We got to get my dog Jay New on the pod next.
That's right. Jay New, open invite as always. So Donald Simborski over on Facebook. This for Travis or Willie, so Willie will have you answer this one. The team hasn't won away. What do you think they need to change to reverse the outcome of playing away? I know you've mentioned this a little bit before, but what can they do that maybe you don't think they're doing right now to kind of right the ship when they leave Muncie?
I'll be honest, you got to look forward to the away games. Like you got to be excited to go into somebody else's like turf and to possibly take their soul and go back to Muncie with it. You know, like that's like it was the excitement of going on the road, getting away from what you're normally used to. And it's a mindset, dude. Like when you play on the road, you have to have a certain mindset and take it with you. And I think that's what we're lacking right now is the mindset of going on the road and establishing who Ball State is away from the crib, right? Like if we're a great team, we got to show that we're a great team on the road. And like Trav said, it's a pride thing. At the end of the day, it's like when you take your product on the road, it's like you got to represent your product the best way you know how. And I don't think Ball State has done that so far. They haven't represented the brand on the road like we know it should be, right? And when we see them at the shoe, it's a totally different formula, you know. And I think it's all mental at the end of the day. I don't think they're practicing different. I don't think the beds are crappy. Like I don't think they're doing stuff that's like totally different from a home week versus a away week. I think it's just the mentality of getting away from the city, right, and being in a hotel room and getting their mind right for 60 minutes of smash your head in football and just to be able to take somebody's soul and take it back to Muncie. Like it's just the mentality to have when you want this win, right, and you want to take it. Like that takes a certain type of mindset, certain type of grittiness to a player, and I just don't think either it's not enough of it or it's like it hasn't come to surface yet, right? Like guys are still in their shell and they haven't broke out yet. Like this could be the week. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be that moment for these players. It's like when they win one on the road, it's a different feeling, right? When you go on that plane or that bus ride back to the crib, it's a different feeling. You know, Colin, when you take one from the on the road and you ride that bus ride back, it's a totally different feeling, right? And that's what you work towards, right? You don't think about it in the moment until it happens. It's like, damn, like this is a great feeling. Like I can't wait to go on the road again, right? It's like long bus trips back, you know, it's a different energy. So it's like, it's a mindset, John. Like at the end of the day, Donald, we got to have the mindset to go on the road and take some shit before somebody comes on the road to our crib and takes it from us, right? It's a mentality.
Mm-hmm. All right. Our good friend David over on YouTube, he was watching along while we were doing the grades, and David had some grades for everyone as well. So he was throwing them out there. I'm going to run through David's real quick. So David, he means the season overall, he's giving it a C-. Coach Yu gave him a C. Colin, he was kind of agreeing with you on some of this. So bad use of clock at the end of the half in games. Offense, he gave him 2 grades like you guys did. Home as a B and road as a D. I agree on that one. Yeah. Defense, B, and special teams, B. So he's higher on the special teams than some of us were. So
that kickoff return, man, and those punts.
That's right. Yep, that's true. So, and then the last thing, Willie, another one of your former teammates, Horatio Banks.
My dog.
Goes from the stream. Horatio, we got to get you a picture on there, man. We can't just be we can't be the anonymous guy. So
put the old picture, dog. Don't put the new picture up.
There we go. So Horatio, thanks, man. All right, boys. Great episode.
Yeah.
Let me run everyone through what we have planned the rest of the week on Ball State Union, and then we'll get everyone out of here. So on Saturday, there's no game this weekend, obviously. So on Saturday, I'm going to get you ready. Me, Trey Moses, and our friend Rob over at Sidelines Ball State. We're going to get you ready for Ball State men's basketball opener on Monday night. So on Saturday, you're going to get Cardwood, the Ball State men's basketball podcast. We're going to review the exhibition game against Purdue Fort Wayne, give you a preview of the game, the MAC Sun Belt Challenge game against Louisiana. And then Sunday night, this crew right here will be back. We're going to be previewing the Kent State game that is next Wednesday that Colin and I will be at. Colin, we're going to have to get a Kent State person on here, and hopefully you guys don't tussle here online, and we'll have to lock in this bet that you're making. So that's going to be Sunday night, and then, we'll get into next week, and hopefully we get a nice big win on Wednesday night. So, boys, that's going to wrap up this edition of Ball State of the Union. Cardinals, again, have a bye this weekend, but we're going to have a big game that Wednesday. So, in the meantime, again, watch Cardwood on Saturday. Get you ready for Ball State men's basketball. So, if you liked what you saw, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you're watching. And until next time, chirp, chirp, and go Cardinals.